Hello and welcome into a new course of calligraphy. In this course we are going to learn the Diwani script. The Diwani script is basically this one. It's quite similar to the Ruqa and it's the second easiest script out there. So here we will write Khat Diwan or Diwani. Wow. Ni. So we are going to learn this script in this course. A few notes before we start it. We need to get our head around the angle that we are going to write this script with. It's different from the Ruqa and it comes like straight vertical. So when you hold the pen, you hold it vertically so that it would give you this angle when you write the line. In Ruqa it was this one, but in Diwani we are going to hold the pen vertically. And we are going to look into the dots here. We've got one which is bigger than the one for Ruqa, the 2/3. This one is a more proper one. The two dots are similar to Ruqa, but they go upward. Ruqa they were like straight line. Here they are a bit curved upward. And the 3 points are also similar, but here you've got a huge difference in heights, like the difference in levels. So this is 1, 2, and 3. Next we are going to talk briefly about the scale. The scaling here is the same scale as like the other scripts. We either have the 1 dot, half a dot, or circles that represent variants of dots. It's easy in this script. Then we are going to talk about what we are going to learn this lesson. We are going to look into the Alef and see both shapes of the Alef. Then we are going to look into the Ba with its 2 shapes. This one is quite big, as we can see here. Then we are going to look into the connection between, let's say, Ba and Alef, and the cases of the Ba, how many shapes of Ba we have out there, because we have 3 of them. We will look into the rule again, the one that we had in Ruqa, and when we will implement it. So let's dive in it and start seeing the scale of the Alef. For the Alef, we have 6 points of heights divided into 3 by 3, as you can see here. The first 3 points, the first parts, would be the sort of curved part of the Alef to the outside, this one. The next 3 is the Alef going back to the inside, so it's this curve. And these 3 points sort of separate the upper and the lower parts. We add a line to the right, and this would represent the edge that the Alef stops at, which is this one. Because as we can see here, we have a gap, we have space on the right top corner of the Alef. Therefore, this would be the edge, the right edge of the Alef. We add 1 point here. This 1 point will tell us when the Alef will start here, because that's the first move. So let's start with the first move. We put the pen right beneath this edge and we go down right like this. of course we do this move, this curve, and we stop by the end of the third point. Now here we have to go back in this direction. As we can see, we have the limit of the 1 point going down here. From this limit and this limit we can take 3 points to see where it will end, the Alef itself. So we know that this will have to go all the way down to here, and to know when this will end is basically this guideline. So let's focus this better. We go down, we rotate the pen here, and we finish the Alef, as we can see. Finally, this is the second move, by the way. The third one is going down like this. The third one is going down this way. So let's do it again. We've got the first move, the second move, and the third move. Here we've got 3 points of width. Again, we've got 3 by 3, and here we've got the 1 point for the right side of the Alef. Now this is the first shape, the general shape. There's another shape. By the way, this is how you should write it. You can't get rid of one of the parts, so unless it was very restricted, but you rarely see calligraphers, for example, remove this one or this one. It has to look like this. The other shape is the same one, but the second move, instead of going back down here, we do this. We take 3 points from this side, horizontal 3 points, and with the vertical 3 point scale here, we do this. We go down to the midpoint of this one, and then we go back up. Finally we add this shape. Now this Alef without the scale would look like this. This is the first move, the second move, and finally the third one. So it looks like a lamb, but it is an Alef, because lamb in Diwani looks quite different. Now here we have something important to discuss, and it is the shape of this cup down here. It's basically the noon shape, and it's a bit tricky to deal with, because we need to make sure that the cup is sort of the same size from the right and the left. So when you write it, as we said, you've got those 3 points in the middle. If you took this midline, when you start from here, you go the same angle upwards. So you see this shape, it has to be the exact same shape right here. As you can see, the curvature has the same area on this side and this side. Now you could imagine that this is an egg, basically. It's an egg-shaped sort of shape. It has similar areas, and here we will have the first move coming up, and finally the third move. This is quite a curvy script. It's not like the Ruqa. So now we've got both shapes. You can use either of them, both Alef shapes. There are no, let's say, regulations or rules about this this Alef. Next we are going to look into the Ba. We will leave the connected Alef for now. Ba is basically 2 points high and 4 points of width. In Ba we have several moves. We have one, which is a small kick upward, 2 which is going back down, and 3 which is giving a big curve here. So you've got 1, 2 and 3. This is the first bar. So the first move is going upward, the second move is going down, and the third move is giving this curvature like this. The first shape is quite small, as we can see here. The second one is quite big. So the second one is basically 6 or 7 points high. It's between 6 and 7. And it's 12 points wide. So if you started with the first move here, now here you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, as you can see, this bar will rotate, go down, then start rotating the other way around, and we'll finish here. So there are similar moves. So the first one would be going to rotation, then the second move is basically a straight line down to here. Then we start the curvature. It's down here, then we come back and we rotate. It's quite a big letter. Now the rotation is governed by these dots. So you could count 6 and do the rotation like here in the middle, or you could stop and go back like this. We have two shapes. So let's have another look at it. We've got the first, second, third, and this is the first one. We stop it here, and here's the second one. We rotate around. Now once you reach here, you sort of lift the pen and start writing with the A part of the pen, this part of it, or you just stop and you do it with a smaller pen. The other bar comes in here. So here we've got the one with 4 points, and here we've got the one with the 12 points. Now ba is basically ta and tha. These two shapes are the ones we use in Diwani. I hope it's clear about these moves, because it's basically an alif. Like you can write an alif in this space, as we can see here. So if you want to govern your ba, you do an alif, then you come from top of it all the way down and rotate and come back. This shape is circular, by the way. Here you've got another curve, and in between those curves you've got some straightness down here. The dot is either here for the ba. For the ta and tha, you can put it here and here. When we connect the ba, it's quite easy. It's a very small start like this one, and the alif is also the same thing. You can't see that these two come inside an alif. Alif is relatively big. For example, athabahum. So as we can see, the ta and the tha and the alif come inside. So this is the first connection of the alif, and it's basically this one. You go to the left slightly, and here we have to focus on the shape of bas. We have several shapes. So the first one is the one we just saw, the small nib. The next one is this one, the high one. It looks like an alif, but it's a very small alif. It's a sort of a downscaled one. Then we have this shape. Sometimes some calligraphers use this shape too. If we were to write two bas next to each other, so we've got 1 and 2, bath, or we get 1 and 2. The big ba. Again, we could use both. If we had more than 2 letters, for example, bait, here we have to use the rule that we learnt in Ruqa, which is basically breaking up, then doing a ta. Ba, ya, ta, as you can see here. This is shorter than the alif. The alif comes up to here. Let's write mabit, mim, ba, ya, ta. Now for Diwani we will learn how to write these words, because they are not straight, like this would be the line, and they come with a shape. They don't come straight at all, they come really inclined. They come sort of arranged on top of each other. If we had even more letters, it's basically this. So you've got high start, small, high, connection, small, high, connection, small, high. This is the basic shape for it. In comparison, if we looked at the scene, just to quickly compare it, you've got 3 small nibs, for example, Sid, or you will have these 2 and the third one would continue. For example, Sin Alif, Sahil, a shore or coast. As we can see here, how they connect from up here. Meanwhile, here they go down. They break and they connect from the middle down here. This is seen, by the way. This one and this one. So with these out of the way, the connections, we've got this high one, as we can see. Now this we use similarly in Ruqa and in other scripts. We use it, for example, with the sin. So يساعد, you would use a ya, then a normal sin, عين, and a dal, for example, or with a sad, or with any of those letters. Now this should be enough for today's video. As a homework, you should write the following: Alif, this one, Abaytu, I refused. So we will write Ba, Ya, and Ta. Again, the Hamza is close to the one in Ruqa. You could use the bigger one of these ones, or the small one. You could also write Bab. You've got Bab. And choose whatever word you want to write. Feel free to look for Alif, Ba, Ya, Noon, Ta, Tha words that are connected to each other. And we are going to be more focused in the Diwani more than the Ruqa. Ruqa is easy and we could go faster in that script. Meanwhile in Diwani we have to focus more on these scripts. And I'll see you in the next class, and make sure to subscribe and like those videos and watch the full length of the video in order to learn more and to get more out of it. This has been Ammar Aradi, and see you next time. Goodbye.